Αγαπητοί φίλοι και φίλες, καλησπέρα. Καλώς ορίσατε στο φακό του Hellenic TV. Σήμερα φιλοξενούμε μία καλλιτέχνη, artist, την Κίκα Πιερίδη, με την οποία θα μιλήσουμε για την καλλιτεχνική της καριέρα, αλλά και για την επερχόμενη της έκθεση στο Λονδίνο. Good evening, Kika. How are you today? And how do you feel being on Hellenic TV?
Good evening, Vasula. It's a pleasure to be here and an absolute honor. I'm just delighted, super delighted.
Excellent. No, it's really nice to have you. And I always love talking about art. And I can see the beautiful painting at the background. I love the colors, especially this time of the year, but any time of the year, it's so bright, But Kika, you describe yourself as a contemporary Patternist. Can you tell us more about how you arrived at this label and what it represents to you in your creative process?
Sure. So I was trying to, everybody always asks you for a label about who you are to describe yourself. And I just found it so difficult to box myself. So through time, I came up with my own label, but it really starts from a journey of loss. So after my father passed away, I started looking at my photos, and I really wanted to so I was looking at my landscape photos, and I saw colors very vividly at the time. So, when you sometimes sense something very sad, you see something vivid or you hear something quite loudly. And I went to a £1 shop, I remember, and I picked up some kids' paper color packs because the colors were very bright and they resembled what I was seeing. And I started color blocking these photos into landscapes of, so paper collage landscapes. And I was left with a very big bag of paper offcuts. And I thought, what am I going to do with this bag of paper offcuts? And I remember that there was this wartime Dada poet called Tristan Tzara, and he used to take newspaper articles, cut the words one by one, put them in a bag, shake the bag, draw them out one by one, and create these sort of gobbledygook poems, so nonsensical poems. And I thought, I'm going to do the same with these offcuts and create random, spontaneous sort of work, which I did. And as the more I did this work, the more I saw shapes and forms coming out of these abstract images. And then I started recreating using more specific images like a triangle or, like this sort of a waveform, and patterns started to emerge. So on the one hand, I intuitively arrived at patterns, and then on the other hand, rewinding backwards to, say, my childhood, the very first thing that inspired me was actually in the work of Escher, when I saw a print, and he had it was an image called Libellula, and it was of a dragonfly, and I looked at the wing and I saw all those patterns, and they really got me into art. So on the one hand, there's this very intentional recognition that patterns drew me into art, but in the other sense, through my journey after my father's passing, I came back to patterns in a very intuitive manner. And through this marriage of intuition and sort of intention, I decided to call myself a contemporary patternist. And it might sound very long-winded. It did take some time, but
I can see you're very, very creative, But, your grandmother's influence is a key part of your work. How has your story shaped your artistic practice?
Well, I think at the same time, I grew up with a lot of artistic influences around me, but particularly listening to stories. So my grandmother was from Labithos, now known as Lapta, and she fled the invasion and she went to Limassol, where she got a job painting on pots. And she hadn't been an artist at all before, and she became a full-time artist, and that was her occupation. And though I would hear these great stories of tragedy growing up amongst my family, what I found outstanding were the actions of beauty and resilience that shone through. And I think the story of my grandmother has kind of stood me through my life, because even though I didn't quite realize it when I was younger, it's as though she passed on a tool of resilience and healing through the very creative act. And that's what I translated. And I'm just so grateful for that, and really proud to continue with this legacy, but rewriting it in my own way as well.
I love your grandma's story, because it's such an inspirational story. I mean, this is an example, never is too late.
Yeah.
Because your grandmother, she became an artist just, without even knowing herself that she's going to be involved with art,
Yeah.
which is great. Now, I love the title of your exhibition, The Art of Balance, because everything in life is about balance. I don't know if it has anything to do about it, but the first thing it came in my mind when I saw the title, I thought, yes, I mean, this is good. And you can think about it metaphorical as well, but also realistic. Yes, we are trying, or anything we do, we need to keep a balance, to be correct, or to feel peace, and not to do the things over the limit. Now, it's such a fitting title for your exhibition. How would you say that balance plays a role, not just in your art, but in your life as well?
Oh gosh, it's such a fantastic question. I think that for me, balance is key, and it also comes from a place of having been through my own health battle as well, and through the realization of time that balance is a very necessary tool, and that it can easily be taken for granted, and life can throw us off kilter, I think, as you recognize, in small and in large ways. So like my grandmother's story, that must have been such a huge way to get thrown off. But then there are the daily things, there are, the general life things like the breakups and all of these things that people go through. And balance, like art, I think I can also reverse the question on its head, like in art as well. Balance is key to creating harmony within. So I think, like my image behind, which you can see about 3/4 of, I like to create harmony through my images that reflect the balance. I'm not sure if I've gone off on one or answered your question.
No, that's fine. And I really like your work at the background, because it's not, yes, you feel harmony by looking at it, because it's like it's floating. It's not like square. It's like a dance. I can see it like a choreography, smooth.
Yeah,
I don't know if that makes sense to you, but this
and
is
I
what.
think, I'm sorry to interrupt you. I get so excited. I just
Feel free. That's fine.
I think what you're seeing is, I think, the asymmetry in the pattern, because I don't create patterns which are sort of replicated back to back. I like to create harmony through asymmetry. So there's that certain aspect of abstraction which remains quite pure and yet still resembles a pattern. So I think in a way that's why you're seeing this sort of floating dancey nature. And I am very obsessed with this wave form at the moment. It's a huge thing for me. It's the wave motif has been the year 24-25 ongoing. And I think it's, well, it's another thing, but I think it's related to a subconscious desire to be close to the sea, for sure.
No, this is so exciting. It's really, really nice. But I would like to know more about your exhibition.
Yeah.
What are you going to show? What else?
Oh,
Is it a kind of photography as well, or?
so I worked as a stock photographer for a long time, but I niched in landscapes. And I think landscapes for me are pivotal as a bridge between what I create now and what I did before, because they taught me to see in a different way. Because as someone who graduated a very, very long time ago, my
Oh,
work
really?
is very different. We won't mention age.
It doesn't show.
Thank you.
You appear like a young girl, little girl to me, you know, I don't know.
Thank you. I appreciate that. We take all compliments.
No, it's what I see. I mean, I'm honest, you know, but maybe, I don't know, you can say, oh, Vasula, wear your glasses, or something like that. But this is what I can see right now. So this is the truth.
Let's stay in this time period for a while. Anyway,
So
I'm
about the
going
exhibition, yes.
about the exhibition. I'll be showing things which bridge where I was. So how photography led into collage, which led into painting. So there'll be some distinct areas, painting, collage and photography, but the photography will start off with the landscapes which flow into the collaged landscapes, which flow into the unstructured images, into the shapes, and the extension here, the reverence to what has occurred right here.
It sounds very interesting. To be honest, I cannot imagine, you know, what exactly, I mean, of course, because I'm not into art, you know, but it makes it more exciting because you're wondering, oh, what exactly is this? How is she going to do this? So it's really, really interesting. It says about yes, the asymmetrical, abstract, vibrant, I can see here, you know, and joyful and uplifting. I like this, you know. So in general, this is what you aim to do, yes?
I think what I aim to do is, I think when people initially look at my work, they see one of two things. It's either like color, I don't want to look at it. Color, I really love it. And I think that's the initial response. If I get a joyful response first, then we're on the right track. But then, like we were saying, with the actual compositions themselves, when you look beyond it, there's the harmony. And I would like, obviously, I don't want to dictate what people see in the work itself, because there is that aspect of abstraction. And because I come from a place of great emotion when I create, because I'm very intuitive about my practice. And I'm not trying to create too much intentionality through the process of my work. So when someone comes with an emotional response, they are going through their own emotions when they're looking, just like I'm going through my process, my silent conversation when I'm creating a piece of work. And in that way, I welcome the emotions. But my work itself, as someone who speaks of my work as a harmonious person who finds inner peace through it, would be the greatest honor. It would be if people find moments of the inner peace within my work, for sure.
Yes, no, this is a really nice description. And what do you hope that the visitors would take away from the exhibition in terms of their own balance and emotional navigation?
Precisely that. I hope that by looking at these compositions that they find some moments of inner harmony and stillness within our chaotic life as well, and which speaks to inner healing, I guess, on a personal level.
Yes, no, that's very good, and I'm sure they are going to feel, yes, happy and joyful, as well, because I mean, with these colors, you can't go wrong. It's not because sometimes they're using really dark colors, which you can feel depressed, it's like living in a room which is dark. For me, I just need bright colors, even if it's white with soft gray or soft yellow, as long as it's bright. Now, your exhibition is going to be at a very prestigious place, at the ambassador's residence, sometime in June. How do you feel about it?
I don't think it's quite sunk in, to be honest with you. It was such a sort of unexpected invitation, and it's such an honor, because being someone with Cypriot roots, I don't think there's a greater honor really than that, and being able to contribute. And I think, like we said before, because I'd like to continue this legacy of transforming, healing, and from my grandmother's legacy, I think that, can I give a greater message across from this? I think that speaking to, I guess, we all are very aware of the political tensions in Cyprus. And I think that it's very difficult to, I don't like to politically comment myself, but the one thing I do like to work on is myself, in the sense of, I think that the I in inner peace starts with us first and can lead to the collective good. So I think I would like to, that's one thing I'd like to honor through this, and that's why I'm also very delighted by this invitation.
Fantastic. Thank you. And Kika, where can we see your work apart from the exhibition? Are you on social media? Do you have a website, or
yes, sure,
anywhere we can follow you?
I think I follow you already, by the way, but
okay. Oh, thank you.
You can follow me on so it's just Kika Pierides, Kikapierides, and as I tell people in England, it's pie and rides together.
Okay.
Easiest way to remember that.
And this is on Instagram, you said, or Facebook?
That's Instagram, and everything offshoots from there, because I'm most active on that platform. So people can find my website and so forth, rather than me relaying everything.
Excellent. Oh, yes, I'm going to check it. Sorry, I didn't see it. If I'm not following you, I will.
That's okay.
For sure, because I want to see more of these colorful pictures. Any message or anything else that you wish to say before I let you go and carry on with your beautiful art creation?
Just if then everybody could have a look out. I'm doing a residency with a charity called The Space Between in July and August, and they create healing pauses for patients and staff in hospitals around the country. And I've created some material which will be turned into a booklet, and each of these patients and staff will get an art pack so they can follow along the exercises, but they will be advertised on their social media as well. And I think it's such a valuable thing, and it ties so nicely into my work. So if people could look out for A Space Between, I think that would be, yeah, I just think it's
I like this. So you are doing this for patients, yes? Is it like mentally, how can I say, issues, or to help them with any personal problems?
It's any patients and staff in hospitals. So it's going to 22 hospitals in the UK. And it's be in the form of a booklet and an art pack. And so I've written these exercises for them, and they will be, it will go out in July and August over the summer.
I think I would like to book you for another interview to talk specifically about this.
Okay.
Because I love the idea. No, it's really well done. Congratulations for doing this.
It's the organization. They're so wonderful, and I think the ladies in charge. Well, I'll tell you another time. But
yes, definitely.
Yeah.
I would like to know more about this,
Sure.
and if you tell us how it can help someone and all the details. But we leave it for next time.
Yeah, but I will also be running workshops for them in a couple of hospitals, so we can, maybe when I do it, we can discuss it more.
Yes, absolutely, definitely. So, I mean, this is just for the hospitals, you mean? Yes,
Yes.
it's not for the, okay. Brilliant. Thank you so much for being with us, Kika. Wishing you all the best. And we catch up soon again. And all the best. Lovely meeting you.
You too. Okay.
Αγαπητοί φίλοι και φίλες, εμείς θα τα πούμε και πάλι πολύ σύντομα με ένα καινούριο θέμα και ένα καινούριο φιλοξενούμενο. Καλό σας βράδυ.